So we're going to do a quick bonus episode with a little bit of what's happening in publishing. Amanda has been promoting the idea most vociferously that we should do bonus paywall episodes with publishing tea. What's the latest scandal broth that's happening in the world of publishing? And the good news is we will never run out of things to talk about.
No, ever.
So the thing that we've been talking about the most lately, just internally, is it's an online exclusive cover redesign for The Bride by Ali Hazelwood. And the original cover is very dark. It's a black background with black.
It's a great cover.
It's gorgeous. It's an illustrated cover with a very thick, like the lines are very thick. It's very, very densely drawn. It's very dark. It's got black and white accents and some red. It's a sort of corpse bride looking woman from the side with a wolf behind her. And I just need everyone to know that in Carrie's review of this book, there is a content warning for consensual knotting. Now, I understand the desire to offer this warning, like heads up, there's knotting in here. If you are not accustomed to reading such things, then that might be a little shocking. But there's a whole lot of knotting fiction here. But we're talking about a book with some pretty intense sexuality. And the heroine's name, to quote Carrie again, I shit you not, is Misery. So the new cover is by Lenny Kaufman. And Lenny Kaufman is very talented and extremely, extremely popular. And Lenny also, I think, has a background in fan art. So we've got a fan artist and a fanfic writer now writing and publishing and working with publishers. So we've got two people who've crossed over from fandom to commerce, let's call it. Let's just say it's commerce, because it's commerce. But it's like, I don't want to say that fanfic isn't publishing and fan art isn't publishing, because you are publishing. I also hate the word content. So, we're just going to go with fanfic to commerce. And the new cover,
like getting paid to do your shit.
Yes. And the new cover is very different. And I have to say that when I saw it, I thought the design directions here, whoever gave the artist the tip sheet, was not operating in the same world as the book, because it's very pastel. It's very sort of sunset shades. There's a wolf in a tree.
It's a Lenny Kaufman cover.
It's absolutely.
That's what it is.
It is beautiful. It is a gorgeous piece of art. But I looked at it and I thought, well, that doesn't really fit the book. Why is this happening? Now, you have to understand, I don't take cover art personally. Like I look at this, it's a marketing tool. And as I've said so many times, you don't have to market to me. I'm already inside. The marketing isn't for me.
I'm inside the house.
I'm inside the house. I know how to unload your dishwasher, not in a creepy way. Like, you don't need to market to me. I'm already in. So this cover isn't for me. Like, none of these covers are for me. When I get books, they don't even have covers yet. They're like premature little booklets. So like, yeah, I recognize that my perspective here is a little bit different, but also, wow, that cover did really not fit my understanding of the book.
Yes, I have an unpopular opinion, I feel like.
Okay.
And I've been fighting this battle with people who hate on illustrated covers for a long time. Because I don't really have strong feelings about cover designs, because I understand it's a business. We're there to sell books. We're there to look pretty on an Instagram. We're there to be on a display in a bookstore. Like, there has to be some sort of visual draw. It's got to look nice.
I just tried to pull up the original tweet comparing the covers, and the tweet has been deleted.
Of course it has.
Of course it has, because people got big mad.
So the biggest argument that I see when it comes to any illustrated cover is that often the cover does not match the content inside in regards to like dark content, stuff that would require a content warning of like, oh, this bubbly, fluffy cover does not convey to me that the people inside are dealing with some really difficult stuff. That, I think, is the primary argument against illustrated covers in particular.
Right.
Correct? Right? Like, the cover does not match the tone or content inside, because the cover conveys this is a fluffy rom-com and inside people are dealing with very difficult things. However, my opinion about the Bride cover difference feels like this is not a good example, because people are like, this is a sexy paranormal. This cover looks like more of a contemporary, right? And yes, Those two things are true. However, read the fucking book description. That's my thing of like, if you look at a cover and you're like, oh, that looks really interesting, let me read what it's actually about before I purchase it. And if you read the back and it says vampires and alpha werewolves, then you know this is a paranormal. You can't convey content warnings or trigger warnings necessarily on the back of a book, so I understand that argument for contemporaries that look fluffy but aren't. But if you're having a paranormal romance and it states and gives you clues that is it a paranormal romance, and you look at the cover and it's contemporary, then you know, okay, there's like a mismatch here, but now I know it's paranormal and I may or may not buy it based on how I feel about it. So my like hot take and my little soapbox is readers need to do their research, and not everything can be given to you. And so like if you are sensitive to particular issues, like if you know that if you read X issue or X problem in a book, that it is going to affect you very deeply, like, you know, books that include children in peril are not for Sarah's.
That is true.
And I trust that Sarah, if she is interested in a book, will do her darndest to check, hey, is this going to really set off one of my triggers? Is this going to set off one of my sensitivities? I think some of the onus and some of the responsibility needs to be put on the reader to do their research about the contents inside of a book, rather than expecting a piece of marketing material to do that work for them.
I understand what you're saying. It's caveat emptor.
Yes. So like, I feel like in the argument of, you know, covers not matching in terms of protecting readers or them buying into something that they think they're getting, but they're not. This is a bad example, because if you read the book description, you will know that this is a paranormal romance and not, you know, a contemporary based on the cover.
Okay. So you're saying it's caveat emptor that people who are really upset about this, who have concerns about the book content, are arguing that this new cover doesn't represent the book and they are upset about it. And your response is you should read the cover copy to have a better understanding. Okay. I understand what you are saying. I vehemently disagree. First of all, there's a lot of reaction about this because these are two people who are arriving from fandom. I think that they also have their own fandoms. And when you get into a fandom mentality of, I don't like this, ergo it is bad, you're going to get a different argument than, wow, I really don't like this. Now, I don't give two flying shits about either of these situations. I'm not in these fandoms. I think Ali Hazelwood is really fun to do panels with. And I'm super excited that she's been so successful. And Lenny Kaufman is like hella talented. And I'm glad people are using her art rather than, you know, AI with 9 fingers. But I'm not in these fandoms. This is a marketing package. The cover and the cover copy are marketing. And I think this is bad marketing because I
would agree.
Yeah, this isn't like Lenny did a bad thing. Lenny did her job. Lenny got a directive from somebody in a publishing house, was like, we want this cover and here's what we want it to look like. I think she's pretty explicit about that online. This is what I was told they wanted in this cover. So I did what they said. Now, does it suck when someone really, really doesn't like what you did? Yes, I've been there. It blows. But this is flawed marketing. This isn't like, I don't think that this is related to illustrated covers. Yes, no. Are they infantilizing? Are they misleading? This is a completely separate thing. This is just not good marketing. This cover doesn't fit. This cover doesn't fit this book just as much as the Joanna Lowell cover with the two people on bikes biking away from the beach. And the guy, and they look like children and they've got these giant boots on. I had a call with a publicist from that house and they're like, listen, I need you to take another look at this book because I think you will really like it. One of the terrible benefits of being in this job as long as I have is that publicists will be like, Sarah, this is for you. And I'll be like, thank you. You know, because I looked at that and I was like, I am not interested in these young people. But that's actually a trans historical set at a beach in a seaside town with some nerdy people. And I'm like, oh, really? I never would have gotten that from the cover because the cover is a flawed representation of what you're trying to sell. And that's the same thing here. But I would argue that the cover and the cover copy are the same piece of marketing. Those things go together. That's a marketing package. And this is a flawed marketing package.
That's the thing too, is like Lenny Kaufman has definitely developed a name for themselves.
Yeah.
In the romance sphere, doing like really beautiful, detailed, illustrated covers of people, characters. And I definitely see using a special edition to get a recognizable cover artist name, which is like a pretty big deal.
Super
I feel
awesome.
like, yeah, like, we saw it in these beautiful, like, historical watercolors. Like, you just went to that beautiful gallery show. And for a long time, I feel like we didn't have that of like a recognizable cover artist name that people really liked. People sought after, people will collect editions, stuff like that. But, and I don't mean this in a bad way to Lenny, because Lenny is a very talented artist, but her style of art does not lean towards dark. It does not lean towards fantastical. It does not lean towards those things. And so I understand going with the name recognition for a special edition, but I think in terms of style and the aesthetics that Lenny employs for these covers was a bad mismatch.
Yeah, aesthetically, you're exactly right. Aesthetically, it was not a good match, especially not for, the book's got nothing in it, folks. We got some intensive sexy times. I mean, I'm not saying it's like Jackie Ashenden intensive sexy times, but it's, got some sexy times. I think it's very much a resistance to change. And it's that the books that you identified as romance also are self-identifying markers. Like if I'm going to buy a copy of Silver Angel by Joanna Lindsay, you will know I will order the original cover that I read when I was way too young to be reading it, because I don't care about castles and flowers. I want that problematic art with the woman with the long white hair and the very perky boobs lying on her back with a big bunch of pillows. Like, that's what I want.
And I don't want to be cynical, but
You don't? Since when?
Actually, maybe I do want to be cynical.
Like, since when? I've known you for a really long time. I just want to say, since when?
I want to be cynical.
I am aware. We had a whole conversation about how much of a hater you are, and you should just save your hate for your
it's fair. I am a certified hater. But like, you're not going to stop the publishing marketing machine. I know there's a lot of, not like science, but there's like data of what is and what isn't selling. And so you could be like, this is what I picture for the cover. And the art department and sales department will be like, well, that's not what's selling right now. And we need to package it in a way to mimic what is selling right now.
Yep. It's like,
so a book sale is a book sale, regardless if the person enjoyed it or not.
And it's also the cover for Lord of the Fading Lands has a new design that we talked about.
And it looks exactly like the new cover redesigns of the Alona Andrews, like white hot. What is the series? I can't even remember. But it's like the Magic Texas series. They look exactly the same.
Wait, I'm not following you.
Is the Hidden Legacy books. Sorry. The Hidden Legacy series now has new cover designs, and they look exactly like the new Lord of the Fading Lands.
Oh, yeah, because the original covers had... okay, first of all, those abs are airbrushed for accentuation.
Those covers are terrible. I'm going to say it.
Those
original covers are garbage.
They're shirtless dudes in tank tops, but the new covers are... I said this in my Washington Post article. Bas relief, illustration of something. Maybe it's encased in fire. Maybe it's encased in ice. Maybe it's both. But that's what we've got.
We're back into
objects.
50 Shades of Grey era erotica marketing.
But it's flowers this time. It's white hot as flowers. I think what Lord of the Fading Lands is, it's a wing on fire with some rose petals. Filigree, bas relief illustration of something. And if you look at the old one and the new one next to each other, they are very different.
I am very sad at what they've done to my girl JC Burton's play-by-play series.
Oh, that was...
Pour one out for those covers.
The original Perfect Play and Playing to Win and Changing the Game, the play-by-play series covers, those were really like groundbreaking at the time.
Yeah.
Just one hanging on your wall.
yeah, as someone who loved those covers so much that Berkeley gave me a poster of my favorite cover, Melting the Ice, to frame.
Yep.
It is like a giant poster. It's like a movie size poster. Like, I have such a soft spot for the series, for the covers. So it definitely
Oh,
made me sad to see the series is starting to get
and
some illustrated cover redesign.
the melting the ice cover is so.
Oh no. Oh no. I haven't seen it yet. Oh no.
J.C. Burton writes very hot contemporary. I remember talking about this with a bunch of other bloggers. That was J.C. Burton writing I know it's really bad, right? Like it's really just so far away. And see, this is an example. Somebody who has strong feelings about The Bride sees the new cover and is like, what the fuck? Because they love that book so much. If you're looking at Melting the Ice and the new cover is kind of like a cartoon, like they look like it looks like an animation still.
This is a flaccid cover.
Yeah, well, that's going to bum you out because this is something that you love. So, you're in this camp now too.
I'm bummed, but like the thing, like I don't take it personally.
Are you gonna go
now I feel
online
like my
wait,
poster.
you're gonna go find. Well, first of all, your poster is a collector's edition now.
Now it's a collector's item.
Collector's edition. And number two, you're not going to go find the artist and be like, you bad and you are suck terrible. Very bad.
Like I get it. I mean, publishing right now is doing a ton of re-release repackaging.
Yes, because it's cheap. It renews their rights. It renews their access to sell additional rights if they hold them in the original contract. And as I have said many times, a book you have not read is a new book. But again, I remember speaking to bloggers about, does J.C. Burton write erotic romance, or does she write really, really hot and sexy contemporaries? And the consensus at the time was that it's not erotic romance because the sex isn't so crucial to the plot, but they're very hot and sexy. Like they are extremely hot and sexy. Are they trying to hide the sexual content? Are they just trying to match the market trends? Like,
I think match the market. That's my guess.
They're not matching the content, so something's matching. It ain't that. And we've already got people freaking out about whether or not you read about two boys kissing. J.C. Burton writes hot fucking books. You dress them up like Skittles, and they don't look like what they are. And
Skittles.
They look like this. It's a Skittles color palette, and I don't understand why this is going to be the appeal. But okay. So that's the publishing tea for this week. What was the best thing about pairing cheese and romance novels?
Oh, it was just like a really fun conversation. So we picked 4 romance subgenres. And so the pairings were inspired by the 4 genres. So we had like adventure romance, we had historical romance, we had sci-fi romance, and we had like erotic forbidden romance. And I think the cheesemonger, her name's Marissa, that put the pairings together, did a really good job, not being a romance reader, did a really good job like understanding sort of like a lot of the shorthand, like forbidden romance and like erotic romance has a lot of billionaires. So there's like luxury. And so we had this like bubbly wine with this like rose jam and Taleggio, like creamy melty cheese.
Oh, that's so good.
So like really understanding the like vibe and feel of these romances. It was so much fun seeing what Marissa came up with. And then like she'd explain what the pairing was. I'd talk about the genre a little bit, like the tropes we see most often, my relationship with those particular genres, like adventure romance. I talked about my love of like Romancing the Stone and how like we're seeing a really good resurgence in like action adventure romances. And so that was really fun. And I liked seeing the pairings. I was definitely still a little under the weather, so I didn't get to enjoy the pairings as much. But I took home this cheese, and I mean this in the best way possible, that it reminds me of Cheese Whiz. It was for the sci-fi romance, and it's called Red Rock. And it's this like bright orange cheese with blue veins in it. Looks a little like extraterrestrial.
What a good pairing.
I know. It was so delicious. And so I took some of that home. And one of the wines that we had was very good. And I took that. I grabbed one of those.
That's awesome. Congratulations on hosting a big event.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm happy to do this again next February. I'm happy to do this for any other genre. If you want to do a spooky one with horror novels.
For summer, do beach reading.
Yeah. Like, I was like, I'm happy to do this again.
Like the display really cool. Could be on a little beach towel looking napkin. And then you have cheeses that travel well and books that you can read on the beach. You could do this quarterly very, very easily. That would be so nifty.
And then I had people had the option to throw in a mystery book option.
Oh, I love it.
So I had a bunch of ARCs for books that had just come out. Big thank you to the team at Berkeley and the team at Leo PR for giving me a few books to give away. And so people would just like randomly pick out of a bag. And I got a copy of Bride. And so I threw in my copy of Bride to give away. And my friend Pierce from grad school was the one who picked that one. And I'm like, if anyone was picking Bride, I'm glad it's you, because you'd be down for this freaky little sexy book. But yeah, it was a good time.
Two things before I end this bonus episode. I said at the beginning it was quick. This has not been quick, but I hope you enjoyed it. First, inside the Patreon post for this bonus episode, either in the Patreon app or at patreon.com, I have collected all of the covers that we're talking about. So if you want to know what the old and new covers look like, they're all in that entry on Patreon inside the Smart Pitches Patreon posts. So you can find them there. That's why this episode is a little late, because I was gathering them all from the internet. Second of all, I asked in the episode towards the end, are they hiding the sexual content with recoverings, or are they matching market trends? And so I did some digging, and I found out by texting someone who works inside publishing and works at one of the houses involved, I learned a couple of things. One, the younger audience of romance-curious readers and romance-interested readers are very accustomed and happy with colorful illustrated covers on books that are emotionally intense, very sexy, or both. That audience really, really likes a very sexy book with a very sweet cover. And I did not know that, which I find fascinating. The younger generation of readers like sweet covers. They don't seem to expect that the cover's going to even match the content, which is so different from those of us who've read romance for a while. I mean, you remember how people used to get super upset that the heroine's hair on the cover didn't match the heroine in the book? Like, the distance between the cover and the content is apparently a variable thing depending on what audience you're trying to reach. And so for marketing purposes, what they're trying to do with the recovers is attract that audience that is like, oh, sweet, adorable, as I call it, Skittles colored cover with super sexy inside content. Sounds great. Let me have it. Really interesting. You know, this whole episode basically was me going, oh, the more you know, star. So I hope you enjoyed this bonus episode. I'm curious what your thoughts are on book recovering, because clearly it is an emerging and frequent trend, and we're going to see lots of it. So we'll see what happens when the next publisher pushes the envelope in cover design. Thank you so much for being part of the podcast Patreon. It is an honor to keep you company, and I hope you enjoyed this behind the scenes with romance discussions with me and Amanda.